Hey everybody, welcome to Four Records. I'm Forrest. No Karina this week, but we do have Martin Wong on the show. Martin Wong is a Razor Cake fanzine contributor, and he's also the co-founder of Giant Robot magazine that ran from 1994 to 2010. This is a fun conversation. He has some pretty good choices. Here are Martin's four records.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for doing this, man.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I'm like always honored or kind of flattered. Whenever anybody wants to jibber jabber, I'm down. Like, come on.
What was your thought process when you were choosing these records?
Um, it was pretty easy.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, I know exactly what it is. For 0 to 10 or preteen, I guess, because
Yeah.
I like didn't really buy records then. I listened to the radio. I listened to a lot of Dr. Demento, but the first actual physical cassette I got was Cheap Trick live at Budokan. So super easy because
Nice.
that's all I had, and it stands the test of time. It's like that and It's Alive are the two perfect live records.
Yes,
And then
definitely.
yeah, there's a couple other I'm sure, but not on the tip of my tongue. And then for teenagers, The Clash was my first favorite band, and
Hmm.
they made such a huge impact on me, as far as like what punk and art and culture should be. Like just super important, like shaped everything to come. As for 20s, J Church, like that's my second learning of punk. Because from buying tickets and going to the Palladium to see the Ramones and Cramps, that's awesome. Buying records, going
Hmm.
to shows. But I don't know, like I started making zines, bands started staying at my house, things like that, like participating, the DIY stuff,
Yeah.
not just buying a ticket and going to a show and being a weirdo, but feeling like part of a scene, I guess. So Lance Hahn was like really a good friend of mine, and Jay Church would stay at my house, and we can talk about that more. And then it was hard to find a more recent one because I still listen to a ton of bands, like
Hmm.
I feel like you and your co-hosts and guests, like, we all still buy records, we don't outgrow that. And maybe it's because we don't, some of us don't go to church or play organized sports, but you want to belong somehow. And you got
Yeah.
to find your friends and scene and have stuff to look forward to. And it's punk rock. So I'm still buying records. I'm still seeing shows. Like that's the chance for me to be around people and feel like, I don't know, like you belong, right? Or you're part of something. Yeah, and Channel 3 kind of has gone along with me, from Giant Robot days. I interviewed them for Giant Robot back like in the early 2000s, I think. They've been with me all the way through Save Music of Chinatown and into the Linda Lindas. So they kind of represent, just becoming friends with all these bands through Save Music in Chinatown. And,
Yeah.
we missed the golden age of LA punk. I was too young for the Hong Kong Cafe and the Vex and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But we kind of put on our own shows. We got to, have the Adolescents and Frank and Alice Bag. This that they really represent that to me. That they still play. They were there then. They still play now, and they'll just they're best of friends, and I love it. They're lifers. Like not survivors. They're lifers. They just keep going, and I well, we should go to the beginning, and we could talk
Oh,
more
no
about
worries, no worries, man.
yeah.
No, that was awesome. So your 0 to 10 was Cheap Trick live at Budokan.
So I just listened to the radio. Like I listened to classic rock on FM, like KLOS and KMET. So I feel like I kind of had this foundation. I like, I don't know, there was a time when everyone who grew up knew, or a lot of dudes anyway in Southern California would know all the AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Stones, Rush. You just know that stuff because that's what's on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because it's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like everyone streams their own thing.
Yeah.
Everyone watches different TV shows. Like when I was a kid, everyone would watch Happy Days on Tuesday nights, followed by Laverne and Shirley, followed by Mork and Mindy. They'd know that, the Incredible Hulk was on Wednesday night or whatever. Just everyone watched the same things. It was totally different. And like when I went to college, we all knew the same Brady Bunch episodes or whatever. You could refer to this stuff. And now there are so many things out there. There's no way you can keep up with everything. And like, you might meet someone and they'll just have different interests and follow different scenes, and everything is really fragmented. And it's cool because there's so much more access. But, like, I don't know, I feel like I had my musical foundation as a result, like
Yeah.
that was our, classic rock, the classics. So when I was in fifth grade, I don't even know, maybe I was older than 10 by then. But I remember we had this thing where, like, if you do your tasks in class or get a good grade, you'd get like points. And at the end of the year, like, you could use those points to buy stuff or trade in for things. And people would bring in crap from their houses. I don't remember what else the other things were, but I grabbed a Cheap Trick tape that was used. So that was like my first physical media band. And it's so fucking good. It still
Yeah.
is. Actually, my wife so I saw them play for real the first time in 1987 at Fender's Ballroom. And
Mhm.
that must have been like at their very nadir, like before the flame, like that ballad shot them back up on the radio. So I saw them at Fender's, and Guns N' Roses opened for them.
Oh shit.
And they were like on the Live Like a Suicide, like that was the record that was out then, their self-released live record. So it was before Appetite. So seeing Cheap Trick and Guns N' Roses at Fender's was like really cool show. And then later on, I saw Cheap Trick with my family. Actually, we
Mhm.
went to this was probably 5 or 6, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. We saw Cheap Trick and Joan Jett at the LA County Fair. It was like food bank days. So we just like went to the supermarket and bought some cans of beans, and we got
Mhm.
in like trading in cans, and we got to see Cheap Trick and Joan Jett, which is kind of cool. And we actually went with Eloise, Lucia, and Mila. I don't think Bella was with us on that one. But yeah, so three of the Linda Lindas saw Cheap Trick and Joan Jett that night, which
Nice.
is pretty rad. And then just last week I saw Cheap Trick again.
Oh,
They played
nice.
Pomona College.
The
Um,
college? Was there a
yeah,
venue at the college?
yeah, it was like in a theater, like an old theater with like, velvet seats and a wooden stage in front. And it was great, like getting
Nice.
to see them play a small place. And of course they still rip, and they start with Hello There, just like on Cheap Trick live at
Yeah.
Budokan. They play newer stuff after Budokan, like Dream Police and If You Want My Love, You Got It, and California Man, I think. So anyway, yeah, they played everything. They were great, and Cheap Trick live at Budokan is still like, I could play this record like anytime. But you know what's cool? I actually got the record. I was looking for the original cassette. I couldn't find it. Like, I'm so bummed.
Yeah.
But I did find this. Like, I bought it used a couple years ago, five
Mhm.
bucks, perfect. But you know what's cool in the re-release is that it has, because it was released in Japan first, and then so many people wanted it, they released it domestically, kind of like the Clash's first record, right? But oh yeah, that's a foreshadowing. But what's cool is that the inside, like, it's mostly in Japanese.
Oh,
Like, it
sweet.
has all the lyrics are in Japanese and stuff, which is really cool. The original Japanese. I mean, it has English too, but
Mhm.
I love that there's like all this. It has the Japanese lyrics and the note to Japanese fans and all that inside the booklet. So
See,
I
I
don't
know
know.
Budokan was like the big like venue in Japan. Did they do other albums live from Budokan, or is it just the Cheap Trick
Um,
one is the big one?
apparently there was. I read the liner notes, so I know
Mhm.
this actually. Um, apparently, like Epic, because in the beginning, Epic recording artist, Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
So I guess Bob Dylan did one before, and they
Okay.
were going to have this thing where everyone on the label that went to Japan would record something there. And actually, my friend Vicky Burnt just saw Cheap Trick in
Mhm.
Budokan last year. She
Oh,
went on a
nice.
pilgrimage because she's the biggest Cheap Trick fan. And I guess the interesting thing is that it's a sumo arena. So it's in the round because there's like a ring in the middle. And then, yeah, so it's actually in the round. So they kind of played to everyone
Oh,
that
that's
way, which
awesome.
is, yeah, I didn't know that until she went and told me about it. She's also a big sumo fan. So it was like her dream trip. And she's like friends with Shona Knife and like a really interesting person.
Oh, they're so I would have to
Yeah.
not get they always play LA and I can't always get out to see them I can't get out of Orange County in the middle of the week.
I think they're touring with like ZZ Top this summer.
Shonen Knife
So
is?
no, not Shonen Knife, Cheap
Oh,
Trick.
Cheap Trick.
Shonen Knife is touring too, though, but with like Men at Work or something. I'm not sure, but what do you think of this record? Like, is that one is it in your canon or am I too old?
No, 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 no. I stopped listening to a lot of classic rock when I stopped driving with my mom. So
Yeah,
16 when I was buying my own records and
yeah,
I was skateboarding everywhere and I didn't have my mom if I wasn't going to like hockey practice or something like I didn't need my mom really to take me anywhere. And then I started hanging
yeah,
out with my best friend and we would just be hanging out at his house all the time and we were listening to, Descendants and Vandals and things like that.
yeah,
So through this, like a lot of stuff, I wasn't listening with my music ear because I was more listening to punk,
yeah,
more this blows. Like even the Clash, when you only hear Rock the Casbah and Should I Stay or Should I Go? We'll get to that when we get to the Clash. I mean, we'll get there. I got some Clash stuff too.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
But Cheap Trick, there's Cheap Trick was that band I know she liked. I know she because I know she likes I Want You to Want Me.
Your mom, we're
Yeah,
talking
my
about.
mom, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But also like we did a
dude,
Journey record and I hadn't heard some Journey
yeah,
songs in like 30 years because I hadn't been in the car with my mom in like 30 years. It
yeah. You just hear
was
it at Dodger games, right? They'll play "Don't Stop Believing" like during a rally or something. That's
yeah, I mean I've heard that. Everybody hears this stuff, but
yeah.
who's is it who's laughing now? Is that the one? I
Who's
think that's
crying now?
who's crying
Who's
now. That's what
yeah,
it is. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, who's
yeah. I
crying
hate
now?
Jer
That one I hadn't heard in years and didn't even know that was the name of the song until
yeah.
somebody to the darts episode that we did a couple
Right.
months
I
back.
heard that. That cracked me up that they chose
So
it and that she was like a classical musician and stuff. It's really interesting
yeah,
to me.
and like Hall and Oates, like I didn't listen to Hall and Oates until my mid 20s when my buddy I started hanging out with, who became my roommate, listened to Hall and Oates.
Yeah.
So
That's
so this was kind of one of those bands where I only knew the hits. I knew
yeah.
Surrender and I knew I Want You to Want Me, but Hello There I knew from some I don't know if it was Hello There or Goodnight was on one of the Rock Band games.
Oh, the good night now, ladies and gentlemen, that part at the very
Yeah,
end.
one
Yeah.
of those was on there.
Yeah, it's funny how like generations learn through rock band games.
Hmm.
Or Tony Hawk, right? These
Tony
days,
Hawk,
instead
yeah,
of
that's
yeah, instead of listening to the radio, they learn through video games, and now it's through streaming. So it's like things
yeah.
keep changing.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, it still happens. I bought Tony Hawk 2 for my PlayStation, the 1 and 2 for my PlayStation a while back, and my son got into Bad Religion that way.
Yeah,
He and it's no control. We were driving around one day, and I'll let my kids choose music. I'm just like, here, just
right.
it's fine. And he's playing stuff off of No Control, but not the song You. And I'm
Right.
all, hey, you like Bad Religion, dude? And he goes, yeah, yeah. And so, it's you're right. It's how they get it. And I've been listening to my thought on it was a lot of these bands that I like have songs that my kids can hear.
Yeah.
Like They Might Be Giants did a bunch of kids stuff. I'll play They Might
Yeah.
Be Giants for my kids. And so now my son and there's all that the specials and Madness and all that ska stuff
Cool.
that
Yeah.
he's into now. He's way into Madness right now because we I play Madness and ska that. So he just likes going to shows. He's on the Spectrum, and for a while we had to get him some headphones because he
Yeah.
doesn't. It messes with him a bit, but yeah, I know he just loves going, and he just grabs on everything. He doesn't care what it is.
I have another buddy with a kid who's on the spectrum, and he and the son really got into craft work.
Oh,
And it
nice.
makes perfect sense because it's like the gears are turning in his head, like with the
Oh,
music and
that
yeah.
would be a good one
So
to
that
get. Ooh, I should try
yeah.
Kraftwerk on him.
Yeah. But Cheap Trick, it turns out like the first Adolescence album cover that's all
Mhm.
in caps typewriting.
Yeah,
That was like a tribute to Cheap Trick kind of.
I did not know
And
that.
like yeah, and then for a while like I was seeing Adolescence in Channel 3 a lot. And
Hmm.
like one of those members, like either I don't know, someone would always be wearing a Cheap Trick shirt every single time. Like they somehow they got a pass, because they kind of started as a garage band.
Yeah.
and they and they'll play anything. Like they just seem cool. They're not like rock stars, and they're not afraid to make fun of themselves. And their songs are pretty timeless, I feel like.
Yeah. I think my buddy saw them. I saw Cheap Trick open for Cake
Oh yeah, I could
at
see
one
that.
point. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, and that's and, I mean, yeah, I mean, and they got the staying power. I mean,
Yeah.
they they can't be stopped, it seemed.
Yeah, they were the first choice for Rock and Roll High School. Roger
Oh,
Corman was going to cast them instead, not the Ramones.
that would have worked
But
too, though.
yeah, I think they cost too much money or something. But
Oh,
they're cartoon characters also when you see them. Robin Zander's all like blonde and surfy hair, and then I don't know, like Rick Nielsen has a little cap and
yeah.
checkers and stuff, and Bunny Carlos looks like an accountant. And then Robin Zander's like the darker version of
And
Robin Zander. So
when you think of the script too, it would have worked the same. I mean, I don't think they really had to change much. I think you could just throw Ramon in there, and you know what I mean. I bet you they didn't change too much of the script. I'm thinking of that backstage scene where they go to see him
oh,
at the
I
Roxy.
think I'm pretty sure Rick Nielsen had like a pizza restaurant near Chicago, so they could totally do the pizza scene. So I feel like that song "I Want You Around." That's
Yeah,
the slow song where PJ Souls is getting stoned, and like
and they're
Joey's in
all
the
in the bathroom.
shower.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and all that. Like Cheap Trick totally could have done that. They have the ballads too. So I
yeah.
could have seen Cheap Trick in that scene, and then her saying that Robin Zander is like a poem, the same way she says that about Joey Ramone.
It would have worked both way. And I don't think you would have to change too much of the movie. I think you would still get the same type of movie, just cater to Cheap Trick.
Oh yeah, they'd be a great fit. If
Yeah,
it's not the Ramones, it would be Cheap Trick for sure.
yeah.
So I don't. Is there a higher compliment than that? I mean,
I
I don't
don't
know.
think so. Yeah,
I don't think so. That
yeah.
means they're like just good on this primal level, purity of rock and roll. Like, so
Uh,
did you enjoy listening to the record? Like,
oh, I loved it. Yeah, like I
yeah,
said, I didn't have much of. I mean, I had a few point of references, but the songs I hadn't heard in between that ain't it a shame cover is pretty good too.
yeah, that's a good one. And that's very punk rock, right? To have like a cover of an old song, but a rocked out version, right? It's kind of like very garage rock, punk rock.
I dug it a
Yeah.
lot.
So,
It's gonna make its way back into the rotation, I think.
all right.
Outside of outside of for the podcast.
Yeah. And then the fact that it's a live record, it's not polished. I mean, there's probably overdubs and crap like that. I'm
Hmm.
sure they did something to it afterwards, but it's pure. It's not like, a bunch of arty people serving you this glossed over, overproduced thing. It
Yeah.
just feels very real. And then the Japanese crowd is so cool. Like
Hmm.
in I Want You to Want Me, when they're all like crying, crying, like they're just it's I love all that. Like just the amount of crowd and the band, and it just feels very immediate and powerful and loud, just like it's like going to a show.
That must have been insane to see that live too.
Yeah. And even on like a little cheap cassette on like a realistic tape player, like the shoebox sized one with all the buttons on one end. And you push the button and the little window pops up and you slide it in. Even on tinny mono, it sounds great, like rock album or cassette.
So your teen one, and this would if I had an honorable mention, this would be one of them. Is Clash London Calling.
Oh yeah, yeah. For you or for
For me, no,
me and
for me, yeah,
yeah.
no, I love the Clash too. This was the first Clash album I got, and I got, like I said, my mom would, I didn't initially like the Clash when I was like little. I didn't, I don't know if it was Train in Vain or just I just didn't hit with the popular
I
songs.
was saying what's funny is that yeah, when I graduated junior high, I remember my brother and we're twins, so she said, "Hey, you guys are teenagers now, so you probably want you're probably about your age of buying records."
Hmm.
And like back then we were like comic books and D&D and stuff, but we listened to music. We started going to shows by then. In fact, our first concert was the Clash, which we
Oh,
can get into
nice.
later. But she said, "Hey, I'm going to give you $100 and you can spend on whatever records you want, and we'll just go to Tower Records." And I remember in the first batch we got, because it was 1983, we got David Bowie, Let's Dance. We got 3 O'Clock, Baroque Hoedown. and we got the Clash, London Calling. And like back then, we're kind of like you just listen to the radio and you think, oh yeah, the Clash are and then I think maybe Introducing the Style Council was the last one because we were into the jam also.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid and you think of punk rock, especially in the early 80s, you think, oh, spiky hair and leather jackets and they're all tough. And then you listen to this and you're like, this is just a rock album. What is this? Like this isn't tough. But I swear, like over time, it's so good. I mean, from
Yeah.
London Calling, I get chills when I hear it. And then Brand New Cadillac, like that's a badass song. I swear, these days, Tony on No More Heroes on KXLU, he'll play Clampdown. Like he's been playing that a lot. Go figure, right?
Yeah, I was about to
And that
say
song,
I was gonna say I wish it wasn't I wish it was less relevant.
yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, my dad, my wife Wendy, and our kid Eloise, like we went to see Bruce Springsteen the other day, and they played Clampdown.
Well, he's a
Like,
he because
like,
he did London Calling when Strummer passed him and Elvis
yeah,
Costello.
yeah, yeah. But I was not expecting that at all. Like it was cool. He came out, the boss came out, and like I'm just kind of a tourist when it comes to Springsteen too. Like I like what he stands for and what he does, but I don't have all his records or anything.
Same.
But I grew up listening to KLOS, and I know his hits, and I know he's a good guy, right?
Hmm.
So first they played a cover of War, and then they did Born in the USA, which is badass, reclaiming it from all the MAGA people or whatever. And then you just hear this pew, and then you're da da da, and I'm like, oh my god, they're playing Clampdown, and I got
Oh,
chills. I was like, I just couldn't believe it. Like I thought I was gonna have a heart attack or something. And then the part, and him and Tom Morello were trading vocals. But then the coolest part was when in the break where he says, "In these days of evil presidentes," and I was like, "Oh my god, it's not some Central American despot. It's the guy in the White House." Anyway, this album, I love it. Like I love Spanish Bombs. I think that's really cool that they
that's
would
a
sing
great
a song
song.
about Central America. Guns of Brixton. What a killer song! And that's like
Yeah,
the song that Paul Simonon wrote that he didn't want to sing, but Joe's like, no, you got to sing this.
yeah.
And he just sounds so pissed off when he's singing it. And then Joe's playing bass, like live at least, so
Hmm.
cool. And then all these other songs, like it's like watching a movie or something. It's like they take parts of spaghetti westerns and The Harder They Come and JD movies, 50s teenage gang movies, Brand New Cadillac. It's just they just channel all these cool aspects of youth and rebel culture. And I guess it's kind of touched on, when they covered I Fought the Law on the first album, but or on that single, I guess.
Yeah, the
But
one it's in between Give Him Enough Rope and the first.
right. Yeah. So you knew they always had those elements in them, but this really like parses it out, all the different influences. And they play it so well, and they're so smart, and they're so cool. And like to be a teenager and discover a band like The Clash, like it changes everything, right? Like music can be powerful. Music can be, important, try to make a difference. And like, what is all the other music sucks, like they're just wasting your time and with their breath and they're trying to look cool, but they're not cool. They're not trying to change anything. And yeah, The Clash just from then on, I'm like, oh man, we should all be trying to change the world with whatever we do. If you're in a band, if you make, later on when I made a zine or whatever, or, put on shows, like, you should have a purpose to it. You can't just do it just to entertain or to make money. Like that's awful. Like what a waste of energy and space when you could be like The Clash.
Yeah, I discovered well like I said I listened to it with my mom and then I saw the movie Gross Point Blank that
Oh
Joe did
yeah.
the music on and that's where I heard Armageddon Time for the first time and I heard Rudy Can't Fail for the first time and that's where I was like this is the Clash? This is the
Yeah.
Clash? I'm okay with those songs now with as I got older and got the context of
Yeah.
Rock the Casbah, which again I wish it was less relevant today.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a perfect record.
And people can mix rock songs, but there is no better karaoke song than Train in Vain. Alone
Yeah.
I'll Keep the Wolves at Bay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it breaks my heart. I want to cry every time. And the thing about like I ain't got a job, I got nowhere to stay, I got like yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's about class also, It's like it's got everything. So
Oh, all of it's kind of so damn good.
yeah. I mean, my brother and I, we convinced our dad to take us to see the Clash at the US Festival
Hmm.
because that was put on by one of the guys that invented Apple computers. So he thought it
Yeah.
was going to be like a tech fair. But we got to see the Clash, their last show with Mick Jones, and we got to see the English Beat.
Oh,
Um,
so cool.
like I think Oingo Boingo and Divinyls and Stray Cats, but
Yeah.
mostly we saw the Clash. And I can say that's something I can say to people, and they're like, "No way," because most people our age didn't have the chance.
I never went. I wanted to see the Mescaleros, and I just missed them. And then he passed, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah, I got to see them a few times, and I saw Carbon Silicon also with Mick
oh, I
Jones, and I
wanted to
got to
see
interview
that.
Mick. With, yeah, him and Tony James, right? Like
Yeah.
incredible. And then I saw Big Oto Dynamite when they came back together. Like they played Coachella, but I saw them play like a local show
Oh, nice.
that they did. Like that's the best thing about Coachella, or it was that these rock bands would get back together and we'd get to see them play club shows in LA.
Yeah, yeah. They would, because they'd just be right down the street, and they need something to do that week.
Yeah, yeah. So we saw Big Oto Dynamite that way. I saw Brian Ferry that way. The
Mhm.
Specials. We saw
That's
tons of cool bands and
yeah.
smaller clubs that way.
I saw the specials that year that they played Coachella, and then I was bummed that I didn't get to go to the show because I'm like, they're gonna play Ghost Town at that show because they didn't play it when I saw them at Coachella.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, they're gonna play it at that show, and I know I'm gonna miss it.
And they'd have a longer set also, right? Yeah. But I think like when I was in high school, like seeing bands like The Clash and being into the Specials and I bought tickets. I got to see PIL and Susie and the Cult. I saw all those bands. And I would just buy tickets and go to the Palladium, and that was great. But then when I was in college, actually a little before, I started going to smaller shows. Like at the Anti Club, I would go see All and Chemical People and Big Drill Car, like some
Oh,
combination of them, like almost every two or
yeah.
three weekends. That was kind of going off. And then up north, right, in the Bay Area, we had like all the lookout bands were kind of going off, like Monsula and Sam I Am and Mr. T Experience and
Yeah.
I became friends with J Church.
Hmm.
And by then I was making a zine with my buddy Eric. We were making this giant robot zine because we were both into punk. We contributed to punk scenes, but we made something about like Asian American popular culture.
I
But
saw the PBS thing. It was awesome.
oh, cool. Yeah, we thought that the zine came and left and that no one would see it because it was only in print. But then that doc happened, which was great. I
Hmm.
mean, who would want to see a documentary about a magazine that no one can read, right? But they did it, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And then a book came out the next year, so we had a pretty good run there. Like I guess by then, like bands were staying at my house, and
Hmm.
we're making a zine. Like Seam would stay with me, Kicking Giant, Dub Narcotic Sound System, The Makeup. I don't know, Enemy Mine. A lot of K record bands started coming through,
Hmm.
but J Church was like the one that meant the most to me. Lance was. I saw Cringer once with Citizen Fish, one of the bands that came after Subhumans, and Cringer, like those 7 inches on Vinyl Communications and Lookout were like perfection. When Lance and Gardner moved on from Cringer to J Church, like I was all in. The record I chose for my 20s is like a compilation of their first singles that came out, and they were like on fire. Like they would, I in my 7 inch, I must have like 12 inches of J Church singles, like front, just
Yeah.
in a bookshelf or whatever. Those early ones, like I know all those songs front to back. And on Camels, Build Corona, and the Sound of Mariachi bands, like it's like an album to me. The
Yeah.
same way Singles Going Steady or the Jam Snap or some other compilations like that have just become their own thing, right? People just know them. They know one song leading to the next one. They know the order. It's like not just an introduction, but it's like in the canon. Like maybe that's the first one they'll get. But this record it's great. Were you a J Church fan?
I've gotten into them slowly. I've heard things over the years.
Yeah.
It's just one of those bands that I miss, and that's gonna be the thing with Channel 3 when we'll get to that. But I just read in the last couple months John Lopez's book, the local unrest.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
I I didn't realize Jay Church was from Hawaii. I didn't know all that until
Yeah,
I read the book. So I kind of made a little detour into Jay Church in the last couple months, and just kind of
yeah,
on random, just not, just put everything on random and listen while I'm editing.
yeah. Yeah, it's almost like too much to get into. It's like kind of scary when you think about all the 7 inches, all the compilations, all the albums. Lance was very prolific. He told me once that he liked to write a song every day,
Oh, damn.
and he released a lot of them. There's like split 7 inches on all these random compilations, cassette compilations. He just like recorded a ton. Um, but this record I think is a great introduction. I don't know what it just hits that sweet spot for me of like early 90s, like very melodic
Hmm.
punk, but also very catchy, but also super smart and socially aware. And I don't know, it's just and rough still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before pop punk got really pop. It was catchy but not pop, I guess, and then like these riffs are just like insane. Like maybe in the beginning it might, if you don't know the song, you'll be like, oh, whatever, but then like it'll just like break down into this like super catchy breakdown. And I don't know, his lyrics, it's like he's just telling stories about being on the mission, and people that live there. And I don't know, like I could I love J Church so much, and there's a lot of people out there that I feel like Lance really affected.
But yeah, I enjoyed this. Like I said, I just kind of they'll pop on if I have, if I'm doing like Jawbreaker radio, they'll pop on
Oh yeah.
that every once in a
Oh yeah.
while.
See, look, I got my Jawbreaker shirt on today.
Oh, I don't have mine on today.
Oh man.
I don't have the green one. I've got the last time I saw him play in Anaheim. As when I had to get a new one.
What night did you go?
My son and I went the first night.
I went both nights. The first night was really mellow. Like the crowd was like kind of a
Yeah.
bummer. Great set, but then the next night there were like more young people there, and
Okay.
there was like a little mini pit and stuff, which was great.
Yeah, my son, like I said, he likes going into pits, and he would have been happy for that.
Yeah. So anyway, next time, go both
Yeah.
nights. Next time is the lesson,
Yes,
I
definitely
think.
both nights. Yeah, this was again, that's a band I'm bummed I never got to see or hear more of earlier because I think I would have liked
Yeah.
them if I got into them. Like I liked them a lot more if I got into them a lot earlier.
Yeah. So Lance was a guy that he made his own zine
Hmm.
also, and he would just write about like anarcho punk bands. Um, he was like his favorite music was like crusty punk, anarchy punk stuff. But he knew that that wasn't the type of music he played or wrote, so he still wrote really melodic punk. He put out zines. He distributed records. I think he put out a lot of Honey Bear Records. Put out like Mosquito Fairies, and he was really into stuff like Heavenly. Also, a lot of British bands, Snuffy Smiles bands from Japan. Um, we connected on a lot of ways because not only did we talk about music, but he was really into Hong Kong movies, which we
Nice.
wrote about a lot in Giant Robot. And then he was also really and Asian cinema in general. Like I remember he's the one that turned me on to Kim Ki Duck and also Park Chan Wook. Like so some Korean movies and Japanese. Like we could talk about Beat Takeshi movies and stuff also.
Hmm.
And he was also really into Chinese vegetarian food, which is like my favorite type of food. And this is like before like foodie culture kind of.
Yeah.
So we would always go to like the vegetarian Chinese restaurants and stuff. And
What's the
I don't know. He was
what's vegetarian Chinese like?
well.
What does it consist of?
Well, I would just say in the 90s, like vegetarian food in the US was very like hippie based,
Hmm.
like nut loaf and like salad bars and stuff, and it was pretty lame.
Hmm.
But Chinese, like think about it, like these monks that couldn't eat meat had like thousands of years to come up with cool food. So they kind of had a head start. And a lot of it is like mock meat, like you'd have a fish that's made of bundled up tofu or soy sheets, and then like it would have a seaweed wrapper on the outside, like skin, so you'd bite into it and it kind of unravels in your mouth and has, I don't know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then, or they'd make nuggets out of soy that, for a kung pao chicken or something. And I don't know, it's just so good. Actually, down where you live in Orange County, Westminster has a lot of great veggie Vietnamese places. So
Oh yeah.
I'm still on I'm still into that stuff. But yeah, I guess J Church, I have so many records in 7 inches, and they could play with anyone. Like they would play. I saw them. I remember my wife and I took her to see J Church the first time she saw them. They played with Propagandy,
Sheesh.
and yeah, it was at the Palace. It was like a bigger show. It was like a Fat Records show. So it was later on when J
Hmm.
Church was on Honest Don's, and Adam Fowler was drumming for them then. So
Okay.
yeah, they've had it, and then Andy Connors is another drummer I was friends with, and he's in the band P that just toured in a minor
Hmm.
forest. Um, Reed's another good guy, another drummer. Oh, Ben Snake Pit was in the band. He
Yeah,
stayed at my house once. Yeah,
I interviewed him a while back too. Have you heard his band? Carnivorous
yeah.
Flower?
Carnivorous Flowers, so good. I'm really
Yeah.
hoping they play the fest this year because I'm going there for the first time, and
Oh,
I don't know if they're ever
awesome.
going to come out to the West Coast, but I
Yeah.
love, love, love Carnivorous Flower. Yeah, J Church, like they just really encapsulate this time when I would drive up to Gilman Street and see them play with Monsula and Green Day.
Hmm.
And it was just a really great time. Like, I feel like all these bands were coming up at the same time and playing. And there was just like this real community sense also. Like, especially in the Bay Area, like, I'm from LA and I know they all hate us in the Bay Area, but I really admired like just how it was very DIY and
Yeah.
very food not bombs, very, no sexism, no, no drugs, no all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like they were just right on. I just love all that things. And as a 20 something year old making a zine and with bands staying at our house, like it just felt very pure and honest. And Lance like just brought it all together for me. So that's why I chose them for the 20s.
No, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I'm a big REM guy and I enjoyed that Rockville cover at the end.
Oh, that's a cool compilation. I don't know if you have it, but it's probably hard to find. It's
Oh,
called
was it part
Surprise.
of a tribute record?
Yeah, it was called Surprise Your Pig. And I
Oh,
can't
geez.
that's the one song that I'll text you later with the
Okay.
rest of it. But yeah, I have the CD somewhere. It's probably
Oh,
hard to
nice.
track down these days. But yeah, I'll bet that's not super streamable, that
Yeah.
stuff.
Here's this here's this super rare
Yeah.
REM. I bet you YouTube will have it.
Yeah, yeah, some weirdo. There's some weirdo out there that's into obscure music that did
Yeah.
that. But I like Sound of Mariachi bands a lot. That's Adam drums on that one. That's one of the greatest songs.
Oh,
I
okay.
quote favorite phrase all the time, like just walking around. It used to be, it's I don't know, which is better than I don't care. So, I say I don't know a lot, and I
Hmm.
try not to say I don't care. Oh, that first song, Bomb. I I feel like that has of course there's a Bomb in Warder Street vibe to
Yeah.
it, but they really spell out like issues of class and class war, which I find really cool, coming from just a three-piece DIY punk band, Yeah. Oh, November's really good too. The song about walking on Mission Street and it's raining and,
Hmm.
your feet are getting wet because there's holes in your shoes and stuff. Like that just, I just think about walking around the Mission with Lance, and
Yeah.
getting a burrito with him and stuff. Um, yeah, so many good songs on this. And it just has everything from like community to class war to um, I don't know, everything. I love it.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, another one that's gonna like these are all just like I said, these were a lot of these are gonna be outside of the Clash. A lot of these
Yeah.
are gonna start getting into rotation. Um, if you don't mind me going move on to the next band, especially Channel
Yeah.
3, because I don't know how I missed Channel 3. I don't know if Orange County just didn't my like generation of Orange County punk kids
Yeah,
just didn't clasp onto them as much because adolescence, DI, your Agent
yeah,
Orange, your Social D, we hit all of those, and you would see channel. I mean, it's not like they weren't playing in Orange County.
yeah.
But I don't like none of the, and they weren't ever like, oh, Channel 3 sucks, but they were never like, oh, hey, you should check out Channel 3.
Yeah, I'd say they're a deeper cut when it comes to SoCal punk. But they were on Posh Boy.
Yeah.
They were on Rodney on the Rock, Volume 2 and 3 as well. Um, there's actually even a documentary about them,
Is
which
there?
is, yeah, I want to say BYO put it out.
That makes sense.
So they're there. Like once you start digging, you'll find a lot.
Yeah, I
And
didn't realize there were that many records until I had to kind of put this together because Spotify didn't have
oh
40.
yeah.
So I had to go through and I got most of the songs.
Well, I I feel like when you go see that I chose this record rather than Put 'em Up, which is an incredible record, or the last EP, the more current stuff. I chose this one because it resembles like what they play live today.
Okay.
Um, so I think I mentioned that I met Channel 3, Mike and Kim at least were in the band back then. I interviewed them for Giant Robot. Must have
Hmm.
been the early 2000s, perhaps. Can't remember, late 90s or early 2000s. But we kind of kept in touch. And then after Giant Robot ran its course, and my wife and I started doing those Save Music in Chinatown shows, the first show we did, which had Bob Forrest, Mike McGran came just to support,
Nice.
which I thought was really cool. Like, come on, driving all the way up from, um, where are they? Somewhere, not South Bay. They're in a
Uh,
beach town.
it said
Garden Grove.
Cerritos on when I
Yeah,
looked it up.
yeah, yeah. Cerritos sounds right. Yeah, and actually Hector from the Zeros drove up from San Diego too.
Oh,
So I had all these friends, that just came up to support a show, like to help support the public school in Chinatown, the music program. When our kids started going to Castellar, like we loved it because going to
mhm.
school, in this historic neighborhood with all these Chinese speakers, and it's where like my grandparents, Wendy's parents would hang out, and Wendy and I got dim sum there every weekend when we started dating. Our wedding banquet was there in Chinatown. So we wanted to help, but we're not rich or anything. But we do have this DIY background, right, from doing Giant Robot. She was
Mhm.
the graphic designer, and I was the editor. I was the editor for the whole run, and or Wendy was graphic designer for the last 50 issues. So we just started doing these benefit shows because we knew that Chinatown had this history of punk rock. The Hong Kong Cafe is just like a block and a half from the school, and
Mhm.
Madame Wong's is right there too. So we're like, okay, we're gonna put on matinees, like all ages punk shows, and have these bands play, and we're gonna have a bake sale, and it's gonna be great. So Channel 3 actually played three of them.
Oh, that's so
They
cool.
played like our second show, I think. Um, and then they also played with Hector from the Zeros, and then they also played later on when we moved from Human Resources to the jazz club. They played again, and I want to say that was with man, who was it with? I don't know, but they played a second time. Then they came back and played the very last show
Hmm.
um, with the Linda Lindas and with Chip Kinman and our friends in Bon Bon. So they totally support the cause, and they're lifers, and they'll play a lot of benefits. They'll as well as opening for like adolescents and fear and going to Europe to play Rebellion Fest or whatever. They're just the greatest guys, and I love that this album shows that yeah, they put out these great singles on Posh Boy, and um, Rodney played "You Make Me Feel Cheap" a lot. They did a song about Manzanar, which is really important to me as an Asian person in the U.S.
Hmm.
He would sing about the concentration camps where they sent Japanese Americans back then. Um, yeah, just and then they kept playing. They had their glam period. I actually saw them then. I saw them open for the Ramones. They opened for the Ramones in Riverside with Chardon Square, and that must have been the Animal Boy tour. So yeah,
So like
so I saw Channel
83,
3.
84.
85 maybe,
Okay.
85 or 6.
I'm trying to think of, yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
think Animal Boy. Oh, well,
yeah,
83, 84 would have been like Too Tough to Die.
right. So it's right after Too Tough to Die,
Yeah.
which was a real pinnacle for them, of course.
Yeah.
But Animal Boy was great too. Like that's another killer record. And Richie was touring with them then. Richie Ramone, like that
Yeah.
was a very little window to see that. Um, anyway, and I love like I love Indian Summer and Airborne and Last Time, like all those glam songs. But then they kind of went back. They started playing again. And like One More for All My True Friends, like that is a cool song. Like I wish they had that at karaoke. That would be the best. And then all these like 7 inches and EPs and records they were doing for Hostage. And I feel like you're familiar with those Hostage records. Um,
Yeah. Some of
yeah,
them, the smart,
Stitches,
I heard
Smog
Smart
Town.
Town. Yeah.
Yeah, like someone talked about that. Oh, Jim Ruler
Jim.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jim.
Such a good guy.
So yeah, so it's great that they were on Posh Boy back then, and now they're on, then Hostage recently. So they've really just stayed like in the scene and playing for causes. And I have so many friends from like Save Music in Chinatown, whether it's the Adolescents or Frank or Alice Bag, Mike Watt, but Adam from Jawbreaker played a
Yeah.
bunch. But man, Channel 3 is like they were there, for all of it. They just came out because they believed in it. And I love Mike's books. He has a second book coming out, which I'm
Yeah.
excited about. This is how cool Channel 3 are, okay? When the Linda's open for the Stones,
Hmm.
Eloise is like, and she found out that Mike and Kim were going to see the Linda's open for them at SoFi. She's like, oh, I'm gonna wear a Channel 3 shirt. And everyone's like, no, you got to wear these. No, the band is wearing like these fancy, like rock and roll suits,
Hmm.
like the New York Dolls or, vintage Stones or something. But Eloise still wore it underneath the button down shirt.
Yeah.
So just like Mick, would come out wearing his flowing shirt and then take it off and have like a t-shirt under, Eloise
Yeah.
did too. So
Nice.
anyway, and it was a Channel 3 shirt. So I got a text from Mike that night and Kim, and they were psyched. They're like, whoa, I can't believe Eloise did that. And I said, well, everyone tried to stop Eloise and she didn't. She loves Channel 3. And then it worked out perfectly. It was cool. Like, come
Yeah.
on. They're a punk band. They're not like theater group, Come on. Anyway, we love Channel 3 that much. That's all I can say. Our family loves Channel 3. And I like, one thing about this record, it's a double record and it's like $30.
Hmm.
And look at all these set lists in here and stuff. And it's like signed by all the living members of Channel 3.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool? Like Hostage does stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Um,
super cool.
so yeah, look at all these set lists I have. Got like 4 or 5 of them in here probably.
I didn't think
Anyway,
about doing that. That's a cool thing to do. So if you see a band, you just throw it in their record. I didn't even think about
oh,
doing
I
that.
always
That's
do that.
cool.
Like where, because I don't, yeah, I don't, I, if I was a badass, I would put everything in like in a photo album or something.
Yeah.
Do they even make photo albums anymore? I feel like you have to go to like Ross for them now.
Ross
But
or maybe like a Michaels.
yeah. But I have like all these surprises. Like, look, even this J Church one. I should put this in a different record
Hmm.
because there's no sleeve. But look, there's a picture of Lance.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wait,
There we go.
there he is. Yeah, and you can see Adam playing drums, Adam Fowler playing drums.
Oh, wow.
So as a Jawbreaker fan, you would appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's Scott Burnsley playing bass, in case you're wondering.
Okay.
Great guy.
That's
So
super
yeah.
cool. That's
So
yeah, that's a
yeah.
cool way to do that.
Yeah, when I die, Eloise is gonna go through all the records and go, what is this? She's gonna like open it up and like, oh, here's a postcard from Lois or whatever, like tons of stubs and playlists, especially like in the Mike Watt ones,
Hmm.
Adolescence, like there's so many set lists and junk. Like I try to like on the back, I pencil in the date and venue.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I
Is
had
that
a
that's more archival, right? To use a pencil, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
everybody uses yeah, use it.
Yeah,
It
because
goes
you don't want
got
to
the
Sharpie it. That would ruin the integrity. Like,
yeah,
the
because
band did the Sharpie. I'm just the holder of it. I'm just, holding it for.
I had a buddy give me a new traditionalist Devo record
Oh
like
wow,
20 years ago, and I'm opening it up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, "You sure you want to give this to me?" Like I'm asking him this as he's
yeah,
handing it to me. He was like, "I'm not a Devo fan, dude. You can take it." And I'm like,
wow.
okay. And I open up the record and a poster falls out. And I'm like, dude, a fucking poster fell out. You can take this back at any time. And he goes, no, dude, just keep it. So I got this badass Devo poster that I have been wanting to put
Oh,
up for 20 years.
nice.
Yeah.
If not, just leave it in the record. Leaving it on the record is totally fine.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll just show it to people every once in a while.
Yeah. So did you actually listen to the new Channel 3 songs as well as the old ones?
Yeah, I went through the whole. Yeah, I went through the whole.
Yeah.
Whatever I could find and put on there, I did. I think there were maybe like five or six
Yeah.
songs in the middle I couldn't get,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but the
But
new
put
ones
up,
were fine.
yeah.
You know, yeah, the new ones were fine. I mean, there's a lot of the newer punk, the old stuff that the older punk bands play, the newer come out that I'm not always
Yeah.
a super fan of, but like this, it sounds consistent.
Dude, put them up is really good.
Yeah,
That song is like, it's like so topical. Like they'll just sing it Joe Strummer is like Mike's favorite human being in the world. Like he's always wearing Clash shirts.
what
Um,
was the God, one
there's
of the songs sounded like first album Clash. I mean, a lot of them sound
yeah,
like first album
yeah,
Clash,
put
but
them
one of
up
them
is
put them
kind
up
of
and
yeah, that's kind of clampdownish, I would say.
what was the
And then
one?
Not That It Matters is cool because it kind of like touches it almost has like it's like a storytelling thing where he's talking. It's almost like a
Mhm.
replacement song. Where there's
What
that song about how she's kind of like an artist, but everyone pretends to understand and stuff. It's almost like that type of storytelling.
what was the song where they
Um,
do that? Where they play Can't Hardly Wait riff in the middle of
yeah,
it?
yeah, that's a Not That It Matters. Do do do
Okay, yeah,
do do do. Yeah. So Put 'em Up is definitely like carries on their Clash being very political and pointed, whereas Not That It Matters is like kind of a more replacemency song because they're
yeah.
very they're into roots rock too and power pop also. Like on other records, they do like a Plimsoll song and stuff.
Oh, that would be cool
Um,
to hear too. I'll have to go check that out.
yeah, so they're into like, well, they're not into it. They were there for all that, right?
Yeah,
So they have the DNA in them, you know, of the Clash and the Plimsolls and all these cool bands, and they're the nicest fucking guys. So the legend goes, well, it's not a legend, it's true that they met like in third grade, Kim and Mike, in like a music class. So
okay.
they basically like in elementary school. And yeah, and they're still friends to this day. And this is what I like. Like, oh man, it's I wish you had the booklet. It's so good. There's something in there that like I was revisiting all these, doing my homework for you.
Hmm.
And so of course, as a guy who writes a book, he can't help but write all these great photos and essays. But in the end, he talks about, he said, our children look at us, bemused, think it is darling that dad still has his funny little hobby, which would be punk rock, right?
Yeah,
Yes, but one that has informed every single thing in our lives. And which is crazy, right? Because like
yeah,
sometimes I'll step back and think about music, and it's just these invisible airwaves that we listen to and like, and yet it affects like the choices we make and the clothes we wear and our political views and our views towards people and humans and gender and the environment. And it's so powerful. But in the end, it's just like stupid songs people write. Um,
yeah,
but these four records, I guess, they all kind of play a part in like, I don't know, this stupid music thing and how powerful it is, and how it communicates things and empowers you in ways that a book or documentary or newspaper wouldn't,
yeah,
or painting or whatever.
yeah. No, I got you. I mean, I found I found it when I was 12, 13, and I just haven't gone back.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
and
Yeah.
I often talk about like people ask me like, well, they don't ask me anything, they don't ask me shit. You're asking me to be on a podcast, so thank you. But sometimes I think about discovering punk as a teenager and how cool it is because like you're just this kid and I felt very unremarkable and I wasn't like an athlete and I wasn't like a genius and I was just like a pretty under the radar kid. But you could get into this and it would and you just kind of geek out over it, and it really informs you, and gives you something to be excited and feel part of and stuff. But what if you, and then eventually that DIY came in, right?
Hmm.
And that really changed everything, like being able to make a magazine and have bands stay at your house and put on shows. Like, it's really rewarding and awesome. And even now, like contributing to Razor Cake, I feel like I can still contribute to the scene, right? And not just be a consumer of it, but be an
Yeah.
active participant. But that DIY should spill over to everything you do.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
not just music, like whatever your work is, whatever your family stuff is, whatever your housework you got to do. That should inform everything. And why should it just be something you discover as a teenager as an alternative, right? Like, what if you just grow up thinking that's normal? Like, that's cool. Like, I feel like it should just be the way things are. DIY is like every now and then I'm asked to like be on a, I don't know, like I had a chance to play records at this panel the other week.
Hmm.
And then, I was on a radio thing the other day, and I moderated a book release thing for another buddy the other day, and I'm gonna do it again next week or in a couple weeks. But for all these things, I've been making flyers. Like
Hmm.
it gives me an excuse to draw. Because I used to be a little kid that would draw and make like, fun comics and stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's like I just love having now I just draw like as an excuse. Like, oh, I'm gonna draw a flyer for this, you know? And it's just fun. Like we should all be drawing. Why do we stop drawing?
I don't know why I stopped. I think I could start playing music.
Yeah. But you could do both. You should play music and draw. And the other thing is like, they'll put out one flyer. Like I did a talk at the library, and the library put out a flyer. I love the library, but man, that flyer was a little dull. Me drawing one was like, it was so much, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Same thing with all these other talks and things. Like, yeah, they do a good job, and it goes through the approval process of their art director and board of whatever.
Mhm.
But you know how like you go through these old punk books, photo books and flyer
Yeah.
books, and like there will be like four flyers for the same show, but they're made by different bands. So the biggest band is different on each one, and you can tell who made it, right? So
Yeah, huh?
so I feel like I'm carrying on that spirit. I'm just making a rogue flyer, and in the end, I'm carrying. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Get the word out.
The last question that I ask everybody is, do you feel there is a theme or a through line or a feeling that of sound, kind of some kind of thing that ties everything together?
Channel 3, J Church, they're all rock bands.
Yeah.
It's all like this dying art form that a lot of young people aren't into.
Yeah.
But you know what? A lot of young people are into it. And I hate it when people say that rock is dead or punk is dead. They're just going to the wrong shows. Like they're just seeing the same old bands all the time. And they should be going to like all ages shows instead of like, if you go to Alex's bar, which I love, of course everyone's going to be old, because you have to be 21 and over at least, or if you go to, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, of course people are going to be old, right? If you're seeing old bands.
Hmm.
So you just got to see younger bands. And I keep discovering new bands like all the time. So
Yeah.
many rad bands out there. And then I was thinking about this also, like my homework was to have to pick a record between 0 and 10 or preteen, I guess. And
Hmm.
then as a teenager, 20-year-old. So automatically, like we're talking to people who are over 30 at least.
Thank you for listening to Four Records. Please check us out on Instagram at Four Records Podcast or email us at fourrecordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.